Map 5 is a relatively simple map, but there are a couple of things we can watch out for to get ahead. If you are on keyboard, I recommend driving the start using action keys 2 or 3 to avoid excessive inputs. On controller, everything should work out naturally, and that is what the world record holder Hefest uses. At the start, our goal is to hit these 3 points as perfectly as possible. Also, we want to full steer this section after the second point without having to release, and we want to exit without running too wide. You can see the world record holder start off slightly more to the left than some of the other ones from the top 5. This naturally gets him a better angle for the next corner, and he doesn't have to steer right as much as Zodiac, who starts off more straight. Now comes the crest. As always in TrackMania, we want to avoid losing ground contact so we can keep accelerating. The best way to do this here is to aim right next to the writing on the road border. Now steer full left and then give a little bit of steering input to the right before your car loses ground contact. On keyboard, we can turn on action slot 2 or 3 after our initial round of left steering input, but Pusti to Paco just taps steering without action keys, so that works too. The world record uses steering angles between 40 and 60%. If done correctly, our left tires will stay on the ground and we will gain loads of time. Watch that there is no delay between steering left and right. Both inputs need to come in quick succession without a pause. You want either one tire track or no tire tracks behind your car at this point. If there are 2 tracks overlapping, you probably steer too aggressively, so just be a bit more careful. The reason this line works so well is that going up on 2 wheels allows your center of gravity to go up as if you are jumping, but without losing ground contact. The same angle that would usually lead to airtime will now allow your tires to remain on the ground. Now we air brake and counter steer the next jump and land flat. This doesn't just prevent your car from turning, it also reduces roll. The exit from the previous turn will probably be a bit different every time, but as long as you land middle to left already steering into the corner, you are probably good to go. We want to aim as far left as possible. You can see the world record air brake rather late, but I think doing it earlier, like Pusti to Paco, would have been fine too. You will land at a bit of an angle regardless. Okay, let's look at the long dirt turn. We want this to be one smooth line without excessive adjustment in one area. To get this, we need to have an entry as wide as possible, aiming right slightly. If you take the entry too steep, you will have to do a lot of steering under the checkpoint or you will run wide after. If you enter too straight, you will have to steer a lot to even make it through the tunnel. After an immediate air brake and counter steer, Hefest lands with his tire tracks right next to each other and increases the slide angle immediately. Maximum angle is reached right before clipping the penalty area and then opened back up after the checkpoint. We want to go over the borders of these 2 small islands while touching the penalty area inside as little as possible. Now transition on the right to reduce airtime and stay on the right border. Next, we need a good transition that allows us to take a tight turn to the left without running wide. This requires already having a bit of an angle as we transition on the right. We can achieve this by allowing the car to get a bit low under the checkpoint and then steering towards the right, which allows us to initiate the left turn slightly earlier. I wasn't sure whether this line was taken on purpose or not, but it lines up very nicely and it makes sense that all the top 5 players are doing it. I don't think it's a wiggle to gain speed. Feel free to argue in the comments if you disagree though. Now, we just want to get as close to the wall as possible and don't worry if you run a bit wide and hit the curb at the end. Alright, this is a bit of a shorter video because I'm still trying to get the map 18 cut. Hope you liked it anyway, see ya.